I know. Yeah.
All right. So I have Ashlyn with me today. We actually met at a networking event not too long ago. We've been around the same area in the same industry for a while, but never crossed paths before. So I'm excited to have her today and then just kind of go through some coaching to help her with her business. I'm going to have her introduce herself. Tell me what you do. Tell me about the current state of your business, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, my name is Ashlyn Justice. I am the owner of Red Velvet Collective. We are a wedding and event planning, coordinating service, as well as we do a lot of tablescapes and florals for our clients as well. So we try to be a little more inclusive. I have owned Red Velvet for almost 3 years, and I've been in the wedding industry for about 13 now. I started Red Velvet with a partner, but as of now, I am solo. So I do have a couple girls that assist me on big wedding days and events, but I'm really just at a point now where I'm looking at what I want to do next in the business as a solo entrepreneur.
Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit about what are some of the goals? So you're kind of restructuring a little bit because you had a partner. Now you're
Yes.
by yourself.
Yes,
What I'm sure that brought on lots of changes.
it did.
So let's talk about maybe a little bit of the changes that it brought into maybe the day-to-day of the business, and then tell me about what is the goal moving forward? Was there a change in direction?
Mhm.
Was it a change in the goal of the business?
So, yes, there's obviously a lot more that I am doing right now in the business. I'm kind of doing everything, um, which I feel like a lot of people start out that way, but I do not want to end that way. So, I am trying to figure out what is worth it for me to outsource and delegate to other people. And
Mhm.
then I'm debating potentially growing a team because as of now, I am. Um, pretty much doing all of our weddings, all of our events. I do have a couple girls, like I said, that help me and that can take some as well, but I would potentially like to grow a team so I am not doing every single event. And that way I can also work on the business and in the business, not, stretching myself too thin.
So basically, you need more people to lead the events too.
I think so, but I'm very picky about that. So,
Yeah, as you should be.
yeah. So,
It's your baby. It's another,
yeah, and I truly love doing them. I kind of have FOMO if I'm not involved in them, all of them, but I obviously cannot do everything. And as I've taken over solo, having more responsibilities within the business, I'm like, okay, I have to do something because I can't do
Yeah.
everything.
So let's talk about what did that look like now? You said I have more responsibilities now,
Mhm.
not having a partner. What does your day-to-day look like when you're working in the business now?
Well, I'm obviously trying to revamp some things. So I'm now in charge of all of our finances. That was something that my partner did before. So I am keeping our books. I'm updating our website. I'm responding to all inquiries and leads. Whether I'm trying to do blogs or writing emails or anything that you could think of, I'm doing it all.
What were you doing before you guys?
Um, I'm also doing all of our social media as well. So
Mhm.
before I was pretty much just working on the weddings and events themselves, and our social media. Those were kind of my big two. I'm also doing a lot of networking, getting our name out there, getting on
Mhm.
different venue and vendor relationships and lists and those kinds of things. So I'm doing all that as well.
Were those the things that you were more passionate about that you wanted to do, and that's kind of how you fell into those areas and separated the other parts of the business too?
Yeah, so she pretty much kept us a legitimate business as far as like our insurance and money and financials and all that stuff. And she did do like our website and those kinds of things. So I have taken over all of that as of right now.
How are you feeling about putting that full CEO hat now?
Um, Honestly, I do feel good about it in a lot of ways because I think before I was like, oh, she has to do that. So I'm just going to bury my head in the sand and pretend like that's her domain. I don't need to know that. But this has kind of
Mhm.
forced me to learn some things, and I've been proud of myself in ways that I'm like, "Oh, I can do this and I can figure this out," and, "Oh, I don't just have to rely on hers like use that as an excuse for me not knowing it. Now I do know how to do that. So I think that that's important. But I think that as the creative behind the brand and everything, like I have less time to do the things I want to do because I'm doing the things I have to do. So
That's actually a good thing. So you understand, you're very well aware of all the new things that are being put on your plate, but you're looking at it from a good
I'm
perspective, like
trying.
being positive about it. I'm learning new things.
Yeah.
You can have more control over things now that it's just you.
Yes.
Um, but I can definitely see a little concern on like you probably need to be very clear where you need to stay
Yes.
and dedicate your time and effort and to stay motivated and not burn out in what needs to be delegated to somebody else. And it might be that during a little bit of time, you're going to have to wear those 17 hats.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm okay with that at first because I know that that's hopefully temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. So there needs to be a clear plan of who's going to do what, who do you need in your team, and all that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That would be good to have.
So what is in front of mind now for you as far as what do you want to work on your business?
My biggest top of the line to do is revamping our website. That is something that I wanted to do for a really long time. And now that I'm solo, I have purchased a template. I'm working on it. And again, like I decided to do most of the work on that instead of hiring it out, just because with the transfer of ownership and everything, I wasn't really in a place to hire someone to do that. So I've still been doing most of it myself. But I'd say I've learned a lot. I'm a pretty good writer. I've got a lot of the images and everything. I know, like, I just have to like sit down and finish it.
Well, what was not right about it? What made you focus on that first?
It just didn't feel like me and the brand. It's a good website and it's pretty polished and professional, but it just didn't feel like me, and it didn't feel like how when I have potential clients come to my website, it doesn't convey who we are. So I
And what
really
is that?
want. What is that?
No, yeah. What does that look like?
Um,
Who are you?
so many people all in one. I really think that I want to infuse more personality and fun into. I mean, it's already in our brand and people know that like on wedding day and when they meet us, but I really want them to like when they virtually meet us for the first time already have that. So I want our website to reflect more of, how I actually talk in real life and photos of our events. And I am not the type that wants just like pretty pastels and blushing bride, and that's not really the vibe that we do. So I really want people to feel like the moment that they're on our website, they know like, oh yes, they're for me or they're not for me.
How do you think a website can portray that kind of personality of the brand?
I think the copy, like what you're saying in it, and just the overall design as well. I think that those are both really important.
If you have to describe Red Velvet Collective, like what is your elevator speach
My
for your
elevator
brand?
speech. So it's actually pretty funny. I kind of like coined this term. We are obviously wedding and event planning and design, but we do it a little bit differently than I would say the average planner designer does it. We are very involved to the point that we're like very invested in our couples' lives and the whole process with them. This is hard, elevator pitch on the spot.
Yes,
I feel
this
like
is hard.
So when I created the brand, basically how I decided the name and everything is like I didn't want a vanilla experience for them. So I wanted that red velvet experience. So in every touch point with us, I'm giving them everything I possibly can. I'm giving them, a custom approach, more accessible to us, and just trying to do different things that are outside of the box and that surprise them in a good way as far as like providing the level of service that we do. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
Dig into that.
Yeah.
So tell me more about what it looks like to be your client. When you say, we'll go above and beyond, it's a different experience. what does that really mean? Give me some very tangible things, because I'm sure I can go ask 5 other event and wedding planners
Yeah,
out there, and they're gonna say, we have a unique
yeah,
experience. We
yeah,
go above and beyond
yeah.
for our clients. So what does that really mean?
Yeah. So the phrase that I kept using, that I mentioned before was, we really love to help couples that have like champagne taste on a beer budget,
Okay.
meaning like we know, I know personally as, getting married a couple years ago, I know how much weddings can cost and the amount of stress that goes into it. So we really, I always tell our couples, like, you can have anything you want, you just can't have every single thing that you want. So we really try to pull out of them, like, what are your top absolute non negotiables? We go all in on that. And then everything else, we try to creatively find ways to make it happen within their budget and really focusing on the few things that they absolutely want and just elevating those, really going all in on that. Throughout the planning process, how I would say we do things a little bit differently is the level of support that we give our couples. Currently, I'm working on, we have different levels of support as far as our packages, but we also are providing every single Red Velvet couple, no matter what package they get, we're going to be giving them um, video resources of me basically explaining different aspects of the planning process. So even if they don't do the full planning, they're still going to get videos of me deep diving how to do save the dates or how to, what to ask the venue before you go there. So I'm really trying to give them that full experience with me, even if they can't afford the full planning. So even though our most affordable package, the coordinating package that we do, they still have unlimited communication with us. They still get all of the resources we give all of our couples. So we give them like a 26-page Google Doc of every checklist and template and to do that they need. And so, yeah, we're trying to do different things to really set ourselves apart, not just saying we're different, but things like the video course that we're giving all of our couples and we've added florals, we've added rentals. We're just trying to make it an easier process for them as well.
Okay. So how is the experience different for your top package people versus the people that are getting still all the education and everything else, but they're
Mhm.
paying for your lower tier
Yeah. So
collection?
the people in our top most expensive package, the full planning, they probably don't even want those videos. They can have them if they want them, but they want us to do all the work for them, which is what we do. So our full planning couples can be as involved or not as involved as they want. I've had some that are ER doctors that are just like, here's our money, plan our wedding. We will
Right.
gladly do that for them. But then I have some that are like, I'm in my bridal era. I want to do everything with you. And they want to be at every meeting. So within that full planning package, we have every single month, we meet just like this on a Zoom format with our couples to give them support throughout the entire process. We are the main point of contact with every single vendor. We do all their contracts, negotiations for them. We do the design. We deliver everything to them. We give them the options. They basically say, yes, this, no, this. We reach out to everyone. They just kind of sit back and wait for us to kind of deliver everything to them.
How is that different from other people out there?
I think, I mean, I don't know exactly what everyone else is doing. Maybe that's a good thing sometimes.
Mhm.
But our full planning couples get as much access as they want, and we will basically do, and we have like an itemized list of everything that we do for those couples,
Mhm.
but they get a meeting with us every single month, no matter how many months we're planning. Sometimes it's been 2 years, and every month we meet
Mhm.
to go over every single thing. So a lot of times, like, we do the first Tuesday of every month, and that is your day, and no one else gets that day. You have full access to us.
Mhm.
So I think that puts a lot of couples at ease that are spending that much money, knowing that they're going to get that time with us for anything, any question that they could have. And then we are also going out after that meeting and then reaching out to all the vendors, making it happen. They don't have to do any of that.
Okay. Have you had in any of your testimonials or even conversations with couples, have you been able to notice a trend or a thread of what made them choose that specific collection, or maybe even after their experience? Because
Mhm.
sometimes people choose something, but they don't really know, right? They
Yes.
don't really know until
They
they
don't know
go
what type.
through it. They're like,
Um,
this sounds great. But then once they go through it, they're like, whoa, this was like so much more than I expected.
yeah,
So what
and
is that
wedding
you hear
planning
often?
yeah, wedding planning is interesting because I'm not delivering photos to them. I'm not
Mhm,
delivering
mhm.
a video to them. I'm not playing music for them. So it can be um, not challenging to sell at first, but I'm really selling the experience and the feelings and the emotions that they will feel, not the product they're getting from me.
Yeah.
But I will say after every wedding, every single couple that I talk to is like, this is the best money we've ever spent. And a lot of the key phrases that I hear, because I'm pretty good about collecting testimonials after, because I want that feedback. Um, Especially with that full planning package, most of the couples like say something along the lines of like, there was zero stress on my day. Like, you handled all that. I didn't even know what was happening in a good way. Like, I was just calm and in the moment, and you took all that away. Um, I had like several couples joke that like my girlfriends would text me and be like, "Oh, are you stressed out about your wedding?" And they were like, "Wait, now I'm stressed because I feel like I need to be stressed because I'm not stressed." And um, good problems to have. But yeah, no, we and that's why I'm kind of picky about if and when growing a team, because I know I do whatever it takes for my couples. Once they have me, no matter what package they book with me, they're getting everything I've got to make their day perfect for them.
So at some point, you work on somebody else's team. And I'm pretty sure your attitude and how dedicated you are was probably the same, even though it wasn't your business.
Mhm.
So I think that's something you can definitely tap into, and we can try to put it down on paper of like, how can you find another Ashlyn when you're looking to build your team? Because they exist, right? You,
A lot of things you can teach, so I'm not
right.
worried about that. I'm
Yeah.
worried about the things that I can't teach someone.
100%. Like any skills that you need on the day to day, day of the event, it's 100% teachable. So yes, you're going to have to focus a lot on personality, like how you're going to tease that out when you're looking for your team, because that's going to be the challenging part, is really narrow down what that will look like
Mhm.
for you. So maybe let's talk about that a little bit, because I know growing a team is going to be something that it might not be your immediate, but it's something that maybe it's coming fairly soon, or should be
Yeah,
coming fairly
hopefully.
soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just diving into what I want that person to look like, I'm not worried about teaching them the logistics of, like, what linen goes on a table. I can
Mhm.
all of, like, the wedding things are teachable, but I think the most important thing for me when looking to hire someone to represent my brand that I've built is really someone that just really cares and is passionate about it, and um, no job is beneath them to get the wedding day done. So um, I just really want someone who will go the extra mile for these couples, and someone that's not just there to clock in or clock out. This is not like a glamorous job all the time, and it's long hours, and you're away from your family, and you have to love it. I think that that is like my number one, because um you don't get a do-over on your wedding day. So it is an honor to be able to serve someone on their wedding day. I don't take that lightly at all, and they need the absolute best experience, no matter if it is, you know, 30 people, 200 people, raining, not raining, it doesn't matter. Like, they need to have the very best from us.
So how you think you're going to figure that out when the
In
job
someone?
interview? Yeah.
Well, I've had some girls who have come and just assisted me on a wedding day, because I never work a wedding day by myself. That's just
Mhm,
way too
mhm.
much. And if I'm pulled by another vendor, like, someone needs to be there. So I've really been able to kind of like test some people out with wedding days and them assisting and being like, oh, they just jumped right in. How did they communicate with not only the couple, but the couple's parents, the guests, like everybody at the event, the other vendors? So I'm always kind of testing out how people work as a team, because that's what an event day is. And I've quickly been able to say, like, oh, yes, they've got it, or oh, they, were sitting on their phone, or they stopped, working, or they were really shy and weren't able to like reach out to people and direct them to where they needed to be. Or they're like gossiping or complaining. And so I've been able to very quickly say like yes or no, kind of that way. Um,
So
yeah.
let's put that into the perspective of like you have to go find new people. So yes, you had these people that have helped you. You've kind of vetted them already, put them into tests. So now you have to go out there in the world and find more people.
Okay.
What is that going to look like? How are you going to use this, your skill of, being able to pick those things into somebody if you're just putting it out there that you are hiring, that you are growing a team?
So if I were to just like put that out there, I feel like I would absolutely need to, you know, meet people one on one and sit down with them and ask them some questions that I care about. And I feel like I can be a pretty good judge of character and people reading, but I feel like they have to have a lot of the qualities that I am looking for before
What
I
does
were to
that,
hire them
yeah,
to.
what does that look like? Let's say you sit down with me and you're
Mhm.
trying to hire me for your company. What is that conversation going to look like?
So I think I would obviously have a list of questions that I would like pre-think about, but I think I would ask a lot of questions involving like situational, like what would you do in this type of situation? Because not
Mhm.
only do they have to be a team player and care about what they're doing, but my entire job is putting out fires all day long, and they have to be able to think quick on their feet, have a solution, and confidently communicate that to whoever they're working with. So I think I would, you know, ask questions situationally like, "Oh, if it started pouring down rain in the ceremonies in a few minutes, like, what would you do?" Or, "Oh, if the, aunt of the groom who he hates walks in, how are you going to diffuse that situation?" And just, like, different things that I have to do all the time that
Yeah.
I don't really, think about anymore because I just do them. Like, I think that those would be challenging for a new person coming in.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think for you, for as much as you care, and you said you're picky, but I just think you care about your company. So I wouldn't call you picky. I'll call you doing the right thing.
Yes, yes.
I think you need to start thinking about this process of working your team. It might have to be like a 3-tier approach to things. It's not gonna be an easy interview. So most likely you're gonna have to go through just an application process, maybe online, just get some basics of their
Yeah,
experience and where they are to start with. And then it should be an in-person meeting with you.
yes.
Let's talk about it. People can fake good enough for
I
an hour,
know. I
right?
know.
Which,
Yes.
as somebody who hired a lot of people in my life, I
Yeah.
can tell you I've been fooled.
It's scary.
So I think to really feel confident and go beyond that, then there needs to be another meeting with your team, another interview with your team, because they're going to have to work together. So the
Yes.
people that you already have on board, even if they're not full-time employees right now, they're people they're going to have to work together with. So
Yes.
getting their input and really listening to your gut. If
Yeah.
somebody does not 100% look absolutely great for 1 hour, there's going to be more to come. And then it should be a third tier of testing and working together. I truly believe you should invite them to come to an event
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
put them
agree.
on the spot to put them to work. They might not have to be there all day, but like
Yeah.
maybe the beginning of the day where there's a lot of things to do and maybe fires put on, and then put them to test.
Like, what
Like,
would you do here?
when
Yeah.
things come up, and before you answer right away, you looking at them and being like, okay, this is a great example of something we'll run into very often. What will be your go-to, approach to this one? So,
Hmm.
and I feel like once you take those 4 steps, we're talking an online application, we're talking in person,
Yeah.
we're talking a team meeting, and then like a practical, let's
Yes.
do a little shadowing experience. then I feel like you're going to feel a lot more comfortable with bringing somebody on board and feeling like you can step back from some of these things.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to continue to grow and do all the things that you want to do if you have to be there in every single one of those events.
No, that's true. And honestly, I haven't even thought of how I would go about hiring someone until this conversation, because I've just like avoided it.
I know. That's why I wanted to talk about it.
But I very much like the 4 steps of that. Yes.
Yeah. I think that would be the minimum I would do. That's what I do with my team. And I feel like it gave me the confidence to say, okay, I feel confident now that these people can take over an entire wedding without me sitting at home, not enjoying my time with my family or on my vacation because I don't trust my team, right? So, and then a lot of the same things we do with our clients, setting the expectations ahead of time, communicating clearly, having processes and procedures in place. And then as we train that first person, as you go through this process, record things, right? So make sure that you have written SOPs so you can, that the second person coming on board, you can spend even less time, training them. You can designate your teammates to train portions of the full training with them. So, so-and-so is going to be responsible for this part of the training with you. So involve your team into growing the team. They're going to be more invested. And I feel like overall it's going to be a better, stronger team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you have some good processes and procedures in place, if you're not having to repeat yourself all over again every time you hire a new person, and if you involve the team into part of the training for the new person. Does that make sense?
I really like involving the team, because I have been, in past experiences, been on a team where I wasn't involved, and I was like, oh, I know so much. I've been doing this for a while. Like, why didn't you ask me?
Yeah.
So I really like that. And I think that helps with, like you said, like them caring and the buy-in for that. And we're all, and
that's the stuff you can't teach. That's the stuff that it's going to have to come from them, right?
Yeah. And how we've talked in past, like, I really want to value everyone is like everyone's part in the team matters. No one is more important, that we don't have like tiers of importance here. We're all doing this together.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean people cannot have an expertise in a certain area, right? So you can have your go-to girl for setup.
Yes.
You can have your go-to person for breakdown, whatever it is. They can have their own things that they're the experts on and they're the go-to person for. But it doesn't mean that there's no levels of it. Everybody's working together. I think it would be really cool to sit down with them and actually, as a team of the people that do help you right now, come up with those questions that are going to be part of that first tier of the process. So it's not something you have to do it by yourself.
Okay.
Get together with your team and say, hey, let's come up with maybe 10 questions that we feel like, or let's throw it out, all the questions that we feel like we need to ask. And then go through it and say, okay, I feel like this one, maybe I want to ask this one in person when I meet with them one-on-one. But these are just maybe the basic ones that we can keep on that first portion of the application. So when I do come across somebody that doesn't even pass that first portion, like I am not wasting my time meeting in person. I'm not wasting your time as a team meeting with them. And I'm absolutely not bringing them to one of my events. Yeah. Cool. I think that'll be a good activity for you guys to work on together as a team. And then something that, again, you don't have to do by yourself. You can start to involve other people so you can save your time for the things that you do want to work on.
And I've started like a Red Velvet roadmap of like different things as I'm of like how we do things, how the onboarding process, just different, like I'm trying to get it out of my brain and onto the screen, so I have something that I can use to train as we grow.
Are you using just a Word document for that, or like what are you using?
Yeah, I'm using, like, I have like a slide deck, like a template that I've just been writing it in. But yeah, pretty much everything is just in my Google Docs right now.
So here's where I suggest for you too. Start using Loom videos.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, so Loom is a very cool program you can use so you can use a slide deck if you want, or
Yes.
you can actually show you doing things on your computer if that's something they need to do. Let's say you're going to teach them how to build a timeline for the day, and
Okay.
you use a certain program. You say, okay, let's go. So next time you're going to build a timeline, you record yourself going through the
Yeah.
process,
Oh, cool.
and you talk through the steps. So they can actually see you in a little corner of the screen. They can
Mm-hmm.
see your face. They can hear your voice. They can hear, because we're very visual learners in the creative field,
Yes.
right? So if you give me a 20-page document to read, I'll read it, but I
Yeah.
might not retain a lot of things. But
Yeah.
if I'm watching a video and I can hear in your voice that this is very important because you changed the tone when you said this, and you pointed your finger and said, this is a very important part of this training. I want you to really pay attention to this because this is going to turn into blah, blah, blah down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
That's a whole other level of understanding they're going to have. So if you
Okay.
use Loom to go through, next time you're going to do whatever, your
Mm-hmm.
everyday things that start thinking about every day when you go through the process of working on your business.
Yes.
This is something that I'll be willing to potentially delegate to somebody in the future. You don't have to make that decision right now and then, but this is a maybe. Some things you'll be like, absolutely yes, don't want to be doing this in
Yes.
6 months. And some things will be like, I might be okay delegating this to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or this is probably a no, it will never be something I delegate to somebody. Then that's okay. But
Okay.
if there's a maybe and if there's a yes in there,
Yes.
then pull up that Loom account.
Okay.
There's a free version in there.
Okay. Cool.
And start recording and just talk through the process of doing that. And you don't have to say, it's nothing specific to say. I'm just going to go over how to create a timeline and the steps that I use and the things that we have to pay attention to when we were creating a timeline.
Okay.
This is the program that we used.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to pull up a new one. You can copy from a past one, whatever the steps are. Just go through that whole process and start creating a library of videos
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to go and watch when they're onboarding into your company.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm trying to create those videos as well, similar to that for our clients to explain certain things. Within that, like, so originally I was like, because I have a PDF of several like documents and checklists and things that I give them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that would be cool. I can just like take a video even on my phone explaining something and clip that video and embed it into a PDF. But then I was like, well, why aren't more people doing that? Is that like a memory issue as far as like giving that to them? Like basically I want to like build a system of like presentation video content and deliver it to them.
Yeah.
But it's going to have a bunch of video. And I'm like, I don't know the best way to deliver that and make that because I have all the material in my head. I just want to like get it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need to like, I know that some people, when they create these courses type things, like use all these different systems and.
Yeah. You don't have to get complicated because you're using that for your clients. They're not paying for it, right?
Right.
I mean, they're paying for it, but they're not like paying by course.
It's included in their package. So
Right.
I think that's something. Have you ever done that where you just like in a slide deck presentation, I can just email that to my clients?
You can. So that's going to get pretty heavy from a size standpoint, and you might not be able to email to your clients. So here's what I would say. You can create your own YouTube channel that is private. That only people that have the link to those specific. So you can create a YouTube channel and have no videos in there to the public.
Yeah.
But have a series of videos in there for your clients.
Okay.
So you can make a video private, and only the people that have the link can watch that video.
So I like that, but one of the issues with that is like I wanted kind of like a slide with some bullets and then me in the corner presenting.
Yeah, so you can use Loom to record it, and then you upload that video into your YouTube channel.
Okay, Loom to YouTube. I need to write this down.
Yeah, I mean, you could just send them the link to the Loom. You can do that if you want, but I feel like if you have a YouTube channel, you can separate things into categories or lists.
Yeah.
Where, you can just say, hey, this is all like pre-wedding.
Yes.
whatever. However, maybe we'll sit down and come up with like what that look like. We'll
Okay.
probably split those videos into
Because
categories.
I haven't like made them yet just because I don't like my issue is I have all the content, but I don't have the information and knowledge of like the systems and how to build all
Yeah,
of
the logistics of it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the easy part. Once we we'll have to sit down and really map it out and do like a brain map of all of these videos, separate them into categories, get them recorded, and then get them uploaded somewhere, and then get them into. Then you can create a PDF
Yeah, I have the
file that
PDF.
just have the links to everything.
Okay, so then they can click
Yeah,
that to
so
see
they
the
can
video.
just go to that same document and say, okay, I want to learn about saved dates. Here's the
Yes.
link for that video.
Because
And I
right
want to learn
now,
about,
like I had a separate like slide deck, and then I had that I was going to embed the videos, and then I had a separate PDF, but I was like, they're going to get,
think
I
about
want it all in one.
it's about making it easy for your clients, right? So the simpler you keep, the better. I will put it all in one document. This is a one pager. Here's maybe you can talk about the main categories, and then a little short of like what that video is about, and then here's the link. Like if you click here, it takes you to whatever we decide to house the link to.
Now, if I were to want to eventually package that up and potentially sell that as like a course information,
that's why I think you should have it organized like that, and you can have it.
But how would I do that with it being on like YouTube?
The same way. You can link it there. Well, you have to at some point, if you want to sell that information as a course, and then you're going to have to choose a platform to do that through.
Okay.
There are platforms out there, and we can talk about that too in another session. But there is platforms out there that allow you to have kind of like a trial, or you can have at least one course for free before you start paying for it. And it's super easy to upload things and divide them into lessons and that kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of options for courses out there. But if you already have the materials created, then all you have to do is choose what platform is the best for you.
So I could take like a YouTube and transfer that into that system.
Yeah, I would say have it. Well, whatever you're gonna have a video file to put it on YouTube. So you're gonna use that specific video file is what you're gonna upload into the platform.
I just don't want to have to do it again all over again.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. There's definitely options for that, but I would create those with that future thought and goal in mind. And you might never get to it, which is fine.
No, I would like to.
But if you create already thinking, then you're not gonna find yourself having to re-record all of that because I was speaking to a specific client, or this wasn't. Just make it as generic and applicable to most people as you can when you're creating that video library.
Yes.
That would be a fun project to organize all of that. That will help you with.
I really, really want, because I know that not every couple has a huge budget for their weddings, and I'm not only a luxury wedding planner where I'll only work with you if you spend $100,000. Like I never have wanted to be that way. So I really am like, okay, how much, one of the things that I've been passionate about with Red Velvet is like, how much value can I deliver to them? All the knowledge that I've learned over 13 years of doing this, like how can I give that to them in a way that, I'm not constantly giving more of myself and doing all these like meetings a million times, but doing it once and then sharing that with them. And that is also another way of how I can say that like, oh, Red Velvet is different. We answer you within 24 hours. We, have an assistant at every single event. You get all these videos to walk you through, so I'm trying to create different ways of like, really truly setting ourselves apart and not just saying like, oh, we're just better.
So you're going to have to be very mindful of how you create your brand identity, because when people think I want to hire a wedding planner or an event planner, they're not thinking education. They're not thinking they're going to get education and they're going to learn things. So by making that part of your brand, you're going to have to talk about it over and over and over again. and helping them understand, why is that even something that they want?
Yeah.
Why did they want that? Why do they just not want something that is just going to collect contracts for them and like show up on the wedding day? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to have to be a ton of education, which I think is great. It's like a very unique value proposition and something that you should definitely capitalize on. But
I mean, I used to be a school teacher, so like basically now I'm a wedding teacher.
Yeah. But it's going to have to be a lot of work to really create that as part of your brand identity. And that's going to need to be on the website.
Yes.
That's going to have to be something that you talk about it when you do your consultations, and you talk about it again, and you talk about it on social media. And, it's going to be over and over and over. People have to hear about why this is different, and why do they even need this? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to be very conscious about that as you create everything for your business, and how you're going to help them spread the word about it, and tell other people why this is important. So it's going to be a good amount of work, but I think it's a very good way to differentiate yourself, like you said, from everybody that's out there.
And I've really been trying to figure out like other ways to differentiate us, and I think that's why I kind of like right now we have 3 different packages for different events, like coordinating, partial planning, and full planning. And I've been toying around with potentially moving more towards like a custom based proposal for every single client.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Because I know that's something you wanted to dive into a little bit. So I believe when we talked offline before, you mentioned something about people don't really understand what is it day of coordination is, or there was something that you said. Is that correct?
A lot of times people will say like, oh, we just want someone to come in the day of. And I understand where they're coming from with that, but that's not what we do. Even with our most affordable coordination package, we are still having a very extensive initial meeting with them. We are still giving them all the tools to do their own planning. We're still doing a walkthrough. We run their rehearsal. We're still the point of contact for the vendors after that, 2-month when we do the start of the coordination. So it's so much work before just the day of. And because I care so much, I can't just like come into a circus and be like, oh, we got like, we have to make sure that it's built for success in order for us to be successful. And I want to have affordable pricing for a lot of people. I think that some people just come in, they ask every wedding planner what their pricing is, go for the cheapest, and because they just need day of. And that's fine. But like, I am at the point where I am not going to lower my pricing for them, or also like I just because I feel like I can describe to clients the benefits of why we are doing what we're doing, and giving them that education and teaching them some things that they didn't know. Like on that first consultation call, I'm already giving them all the tips I like, because I want them to see that like I know what I'm talking about. And I've said to them a million times, like, I can save you what the coordinating my packages, I can save you that in our first meeting just by like helping you move your money where it matters. And like going back to the testimonials, like after every single wedding, everyone's like, this is the best money I've ever spent. So it's like, okay, how do I package that at the beginning during my consultation? And I feel really strongly like once I talk to a couple, like I have a very high conversion rate of booking them, but I feel like sometimes lumping them into one of these 3 packages, a lot of times they're like, oh, well, do you have a middle to that? Or can we take away this and add this? And I've just been toying with like maybe like really sitting down at that initial meeting, really getting like, what do you expect out of a wedding planner? Because that is different for every single person. Like, what do you want? Because everyone wants something different. Catering a package, then like after that meeting, sending them basically an itemized list of like, okay, this is everything that you want us to do for you. We can meet every single one of these needs, and basically just give them everything they want and nothing that they don't, and kind of creating that custom feel, which is like tied back to our brand too. But then on the back end, I need to have prepared like, okay, well, this is like minimum what we can charge. and then also like figuring out like with each additional thing that they want, what does
Exactly.
the price for that look like
Yeah.
assigning the value to that. Um, I don't know.
So I have two questions for you.
Yes.
Have you ever calculated your cost of doing business?
Kind of. Like I have basically done like, okay, this is approximately how many hours it takes me to do a coordinating wedding. Is that what you're talking about?
Part of it. That's a small part of it.
Okay. And then,
But then understanding what that hour costs, like out of everything that you have to pay for to run your business,
yeah.
understanding all of your expenses and then understanding what does an hour should cost, a minimum to cover to just run your business properly, and then decide what you actually going to charge compared to what that hour should cost. Probably
Okay.
never broke that down, did you?
No, no.
Okay. So that's definitely something we can do. Because that's going to give you some more clarity, and I think it will help when you as you think through this possible customization.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a lot to unpack there. But my
Mm-hmm.
other question is, what are your packages called right now?
Coordination, partial planning, full planning.
Okay, and the coordination is a day of coordination?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of there's a disconnect with clients out there, like just like you said, they don't understand what day of coordination means.
Yeah.
So you can actually take advantage of that and be really smart when you build, when you rearrange your packages, your collections, um, and actually create something that people can understand. Go away from the industry standards of what
I
things are
know. I hate
called.
it. Yeah.
Full planning, partial planning, day of coordination.
Because no one knows.
That's
And I
great
have
if you talk to, yeah,
yeah, and I have lists of like this is everything that is in this package and this is everything in this, but there's still a disconnect. And then I have a lot of people that are like, okay, well, like I don't need all this. So
mhm,
can I do less? And then like I've created like custom packages kind of in the middle of some of
yeah,
mine that were still worth it for me to work that event. But then I was just like, okay, well, why wouldn't I do this for everyone? But then I'm like, oh, well, do other people just like looking at a list and picking? I want, there's
yeah.
3 packages, there's low, medium, and high, and I want this one. Is that just easier for them?
So it depends, right? So you have to look into a few things there. So first, I feel like you can definitely take advantage of thinking outside the box when when we're recreating things for your clients. And two, you're going to have to really narrow down how your ideal client thinks and how they're going to make those choices. Because yes, you can have all kinds of things to cater to all kinds of people, but are those really the people that you want to be working with? So maybe somebody that's coming in and picking things apart and like wanting to lower your price
Yeah.
and pick and choose. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not the kind of people you're going to be working with, or
Mhm.
maybe they are the kind of client that that's okay. We can do this, but here Heather is going to be your lead
Yeah, yeah,
planner,
yeah, yeah,
right? This is her expertise is
yeah. Because I
the
have a
customer
girl right
facing.
now, like, who she only wants the coordinating. She does not wanna touch any big planning.
Right.
So I would automatically if someone came in with that desire, she's automatically getting them.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a lot that we can work on to like really breaking things down. First, you definitely have to understand your cost of doing business. That's going to be a big one for you to even know where to start. Are you even charging enough to make this business profitable? And yes, maybe now you're making money, but like, is it really like what is your net?
Mhm.
Now, work and all that. So really breaking things down and understanding your cost of doing business, understanding how you can build collections that really are easy to understand and offer people things that are different than what it's out there, because it's like
Yeah.
that's going to help you differentiate. So that where is that education built into the collections,
Mhm.
or other things that we can come up with that can make set you apart, and then understanding how to sell that to people in a way that they don't know what they need, they don't know
Right.
what they want.
So that's why I'm kind of
Okay.
torn between, like, they tell me what they want, but a lot of times
They
that's like
don't
they
know.
want so many other things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, do I just like go custom and create proposals based on like what they're telling me and what I can know that they need from that?
Mhm.
Or do I just stick with my like high, medium, low, put them in one of those and go?
I think there will be some long conversations on that one. But you also have to think about for yourself and sustainability of your business and scalability of your business. I feel like if you just go the route of customizing everything for everybody, think about how much time that's going to take for
Hmm.
you to do that for every single client. And
Yeah.
then how are you going to keep track of, okay, this client paid for these things. So, and this client, like, are you
Yeah.
going to be able to keep track of all of that in your mind? Is your team going to
Hmm.
be able to keep track? And then on the wedding day, well, I can't do this because they didn't pay for it, but I'm just going to do it anyways because it's just easier for me to follow a process of these are the
Yeah.
things I do on the
Well, I
wedding
feel like
day.
that's what I already do. Like so many times, like I work less on my full planning than I do on my coordinating sometimes,
And
which
that's
is,
not fair to your clients, right? Or to you.
yeah. Yeah. Like my coordinating couples require so much more and they're paying the least amount to me. And then that's where like the resentment and burnout happens.
And that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
A lot of very, very often the people that pay the least are the ones that expect the most. And
Yes.
and I think you and I talked about that a little bit. I don't know if it was with you I was having this conversation, but
Yeah.
there's just a different expectation that comes with if I'm dropping a lot of money on you, I expect you to be an expert, and I'm not going to be questioning what you do because, gosh, I'm paying you thousands of dollars to get this
Hmm.
done.
Hmm.
That means to me as somebody paying for that service that you are really good at what you do, you really know it, and that I don't need to be micromanaging you because you're the expert. But if I'm
Yes.
paying you a little bit of money for it, one, that's probably talks about my capacity to spend money on things that I want or possibly need. Two, I'm going to be a lot more on top of you because this is all I got and I want to make sure it's well spent. So there's a lot of the psychology of selling and understanding these clients'
Hmm.
mentalities that go into, and you don't want to get yourself in a situation where you're spending a lot of your time and effort and expertise into that client versus somebody who really trusts you and let you just do all the amazing things that you do all the time, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. Well, lots to think about, right?
Yes, it's a lot. Mm.
Oh, thanks for spending some time with me today.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
excited for
you.
you.
Thank you. This was super helpful, and I feel like now you've just opened up even more thinking.
Yes.
All good things,
My
though.
favorite thing to do. Make
Yes.
people think even more.
Mhm, mhm.
Awesome. All right. I want to end this for us
Okay,
right now. You can hang in there. We'll talk offline a little bit.
okay.